All right, takeaway times. Tim, take us away with takeaways. We got so
All
much to cover.
right. Well, we started off with honest no BS. How are we overcomplicating data products? And you started off by saying that from your own experiences being involved in a lot of these large transformation projects, many of them lately that are now involving data products, because people are excited about data products. That's probably the buzzword of or excitement phrase, if we want to be nicer to it, of 2025. Uh, and you said that a lot of times these big projects, they go big, they think big, they become complex. You were building a data product factory, and what happens is that at the end of it, you don't get the value that you expected. And really, what you should have done is started small. But and this is where I think you said something surprising that's actually very interesting for our listeners to think about. Is you would think that maybe going big meant that it was too waterfally, but actually, you're saying it was not waterfally enough. It was an overly agile approach that ultimately did not result in business results. And what you actually need to do is embrace the concept of agility a little less in some of these cases, because we are not focusing enough on laying the right foundation. We are not focusing enough on investing in kind of the enablement around these things. The people and collaboration was a big aspect that you talked about, that you need to properly spend the time on that, know what's expected, have the people enablement, and think about things like governance and metadata. And a lot of these things aren't going to happen if all you're doing is taking just a pure agile approach around data products. It sounds like just a new way to kind of build a data swamp, just a different kind of data swamp. And so we then started to get a little bit into what makes for a good data product initiative and a good data product. You said that data products are the combination of the social and the technical, and the real success is where those two things meet. It's in the middle. And we're not revolutionizing the way that we do data engineering. We have good ways to work as data engineering teams, but we need to link that work to real value. And that's where the data products really come in. They help make it clear the visible value to the business, the ROI, and make sure that it's understandable, because data teams are being held now to a higher account about the things that you're investing your time in, your people in, your money in. You can't just spend millions of dollars on Snowflake and not be held to, like, what is that going towards, like, right? And so I think that's a good thing. It means that we're maturing as a function within the organization. And then you talked about a couple of different kinds of data products, more of the pure data engineering data products, which might be a table in a database that you need, and you need more technical skills to use it, right? It could be a SQL query, it could be Python, some kind of code maybe, right? But ideally it's reusable, right? It's modeled, and I know we'll talk more about modeling towards the end. And then there's analytical data products, which are more user friendly. Could be a dashboard, could be even, like you mentioned, like an email that goes to somebody that says, "Hey, your sales went up." This is more of a targeted on a specific value stream, and it's easier to measure the value. It's closer to the business. All right, Juan, over to you. What were your big
Well,
takeaways?
so we go into the whole agile versus kind of the short waterfall approach, and it's important to understand the two types of products that is going to affect this approach, and things that you need to be able to consider. Like, this is the data product management, right? Consider the requirements. Who is it for? Does it have to be real time? The way do you have? How do you want to provide this data? Consider the enablement. How is this going to be successful? Because in product management, always this starts with user research instead of like, hey, let's just start building out this data product. So in a waterfall approach, like this short waterfall approach, you will have you'll time box the discovery to go do all these things and planning, and when to go do the enablement and who's going to execute all that stuff, right? And I think traditionally when we think about agile today, it ends up being more feature technical oriented, and it's more about failing fast. But what we should really be doing is failing smart about it. Now, arguably, folks may think that this is more that the agile is more about like generating features fast, but I think Tim's position was like, if this is agile done right. So in a way, like if you do agile right, you are doing this kind of short-term waterfall approach. But people end up thinking about what agile as being much more technical and just kind of generating features, and hence your position of why this should be more of the waterfall approach, short waterfall approach. Data product owners should be 60% focused on strategy, 40% on delivery, not 100% on delivery. And now we have kind of this tension, like this back and forth of like, we don't have enough time. And I think we did go into this, like how we think AI is going to be able to help automate parts of this product management. Things like user research, connecting the business value, defining what is the risk around this stuff, creating the user stories, shaping the backlog, even doing some initial financial modeling for our chargeback model. So it's going to be a huge opportunity how this is going to accelerate. And then a couple more things you close with. One is we are good at delivering the first wave of data products. We're bad to mature it, right? We're terrible at retiring data products. People will be mad. They will shout. Like, actually do the scream test. Remove the tables and see who shouts. Usually no one does. Or kill 20% of your data products if it's about 20%, the bottom 20%. You just don't need it. And don't be proud if you have hundreds of 800 data products. Don't be proud about that. Actually, you should be ashamed of yourself. Number two thing you close out with is that where are the data modelers? We need to have more time modeling the data, hiring people in modeling and taxonomies and semantics and ontology, spending more time to making these things reusable domain models. And this is this rise that we're seeing of these, call it data librarians or knowledge scientists and so forth. All right. Well, how do we do? Anything we missed?
No, I think you're wow. What a summary.
No, again, that was all you.